What's up, guys? This is Brent with Western Equipment. Now let's jump right in and start talking about this John Deere 3032E by first breaking down the model number. So what we have here is going to be the 3032E, so the first digit in that being the 3. This is going to be our family identifier. So this is a 3 series tractor, so the 3 at the first of that model number is going to indicate what family this tractor is in. Now the next 3 digits, the 032, is going to be your indicator of horsepower. Now, these are not always just spot on correct to what the horsepower of the tractor is, but it's going to get you somewhere close. So the 032 on this tractor is actually going to be a 31 horsepower, even though in the model number it says 032. It is really close there at the 31. Now, the last letter of the model number, the E there, that is going to be your trim level indicator. Now, throughout the John Deere lineup, we're going to see sort of this same pattern. We're going to have E trim levels, M trim levels, and R trim levels, all pretty standard across most of your lineups of tractor. So what this is going to mean is the E is going to be your economy or base model tractor, the M is going to be sort of your mid-spec model tractor, and then the R is going to be the most loaded out, or more like your Cadillac type tractor. Now let's talk a little bit about the engine and get underneath the hood and then take these side panels off and show you some of the service points on this machine. So to get underneath the hood, first thing we're going to do is grab our key from our machine, or a key maybe that you have in your pocket, or something small to go in this little opener over here on the right hand side. We'll see that we have this plastic piece that has a picture of the tractor with the hood popping up, and this is going to be for us to push our key in right there to open up this hood. Once we do that and we raise that hood, we're going to see that it is on a couple of shock absorbers here that's going to keep that hood up and keep it from falling down on you when you're doing anything underneath the hood here. Now, if we need full access to this, we can, like I said, take these side panels off. So right here on both sides of the tractor, we're going to have these 2 yellow knobs that we are going to push in and turn back counterclockwise. That is going to take them loose from the frame here. Then we can just simply pull out on those. Over here on the right hand side, if we have a loader hooked up, we need to pull back on these loader hoses a little bit. Then we're just going to pull up and out just like so. Then we can set those off to the side over here. Now, once we have those side panels off, we have everything exposed here. So starting over on the left hand side, there's not going to be a whole lot over here that you're going to have to mess with as a service point, except for your air filter right back here. Now, this is going to be on a clamp system where you simply unclamp that, pull this lid off. That's going to give you access to your air filter. Then if we move up from the air filter towards the front of the machine, we're going to have our radiator right here. We'll have our overflow tank right here. And then down below that, we are going to have our battery right down there. Now, once we move back over here to the right hand side, some of the things that we are going to have over on this side are going to be both of our fuel filters. So for one, we are going to have our water separator filter here that has our shutoff switch. And then in front of that, we're going to have our other fuel filter right up here, right behind your front axle. Now, over on this right-hand side is also where all of our oil fill and dipstick components and such are going to be. So right above that water separator filter is going to be our oil dipstick. Right below and next to the water separator filter is going to be your oil filter. And then right up here on this orange cap is going to be your oil fill. Now, like I said before, this is going to be a 31 horsepower engine. This is going to be a 3-cylinder Yanmar engine. This is going to be the brand of engines that John Deere has used for many, many years on these small tractors. They seem to show really good performance, so therefore John Deere has just kept on going with that engine. Now, most of the time, this size of tractor is going to come from the factory with a loader. So if you do look at one of these and it has the 300E loader on it, just know that you are going to have a lifting height of 84 inches, and you're going to have a lifting capacity of right at 845 pounds, 20 inches out in front of the pivot point. Now, the pivot point is going to be the bottom pin where the bucket meets the frame of the loader. So why we measure 20 inches out is because a lot of the time the weight that we're going to be lifting is going to be out away from that pivot point rather than rolled back sitting right on the pivot point of the loader. So just to be safe, 845 pounds, try not to go above that and you will be safe on this. Also on this 300E loader, you are going to have the John Deere style quick attach, so you will be able to add other things to this loader such as pallet forks, a bale spear, whatever those things are that you may need in the front so you can get those jobs done that you have in your operation. Next here, a little bit about the tires. Now, what we are going to have on this machine is going to be the R4 industrial tires we have here at the front and at the rear. Now, these are going to be a good mesh of a working tire, plus it's going to have a lot of flat surface there on those lugs to still be good and easy on your asphalt surfaces, or maybe surfaces covered in millings, things like that that you're trying not to disturb too much. Now, you do have the option of going with the standard R1 tires, which is going to be more of your ag style tire. It's going to have a lot more V pattern to it, and the lugs are going to be taller. It's going to be a lot closer to what you'd see normally on your tractors. And then also on these, you can get the R3 turf tires. So if you are buying this, maybe you're needing to do some work on a ball field or a golf course, things like that, just know that you do have the option for the turf tires as well. Now let's go ahead and hop in the operator station and talk about all of the controls in here so you're familiar with those when you go to look at one of these tractors. Now over here on the left hand side is going to be where our step and handle are for entry. So you do have a step right here and this handle to help you get up and onto the machine. Now you'll also notice that over here on the right hand side we have a handle as well, and these are kind of more for comfortability whenever we are driving this machine. So whether you drive with your right hand or your left hand, you kind of have an extra place to hold on there if we don't drive with two hands. So starting with the controls and things of this machine, first thing I always like to point out is the ROPS system, the rollover protection right here above my head. Now this is going to be foldable. Right here in the middle we can see these two knuckles, and this is going to be so that we can fold this down if we are working in those areas that's going to have trees or lower hanging objects that we want to make sure to be able to get under and around easily. So you can fold these down, but just know that if we're in any situation where we're going to be maybe on a hillside or an uneven surface, that we want to have this up, because this is engineered to hold the weight of this tractor in an upset overturn situation so that the tractor does not roll over on top of you. So if this thing happens to roll to one side or the other, we want to make sure, and for one, have our seat belt on, which is going to be over here to our left hand side. And then we want to go with the fall. We want to be leaning away from it, holding on, have that seat belt on, let that thing finish falling so that this can stop that tractor from rolling and then safely exit the tractor. So in any of those unsafe situations, just make sure seat belt, ROPS is on. Now over here to the left hand side where we're going to start, first thing is up here on the fender we are going to have this storage compartment. This is generally where we're going to have our operator manual when this is a brand new machine, so if you're looking for that, make sure to check out this cubby right over here. Now also over here on the left we are going to have our gear selector or our range selector. So we have a high, neutral, and low position. So low is going to be just your low and slow. High is going to be what we're doing most of our work in. Moving down from that, we are going to have our parking brake. So this is going to be an automotive style parking brake that we can pull up to put that on, push the button in, push it down for off. Then right below that, we are going to have our four-wheel drive engagement. So these tractors are going to have mechanical front-wheel drive or four-wheel drive. So if we're in those sticky situations where we need to have those front tires in use, a lot of times we're doing loader work, it's a good time to have that four-wheel drive engaged. So right down here on the left-hand side is going to be that engagement. It's just a T handle that we pull up, turn that on, push down to turn it off. Now moving up right in front of your left foot, this is going to be our brake pedal. So right here it has a nice little sticker that tells you we're going to push it all the way forward to engage the brake, and then if we need to use our differential lock, so basically locking in our rear wheels to where they are driving the same and pulling the same, we just needed to press that switch about halfway in to engage that differential lock. Now right down below the seat we're going to see this little silver lever here. This is going to be our seat slide adjustment. So you do have the adjustment here on the seat to be able to slide that back and forth to make sure that this seat is in the position that's going to fit whatever operators you may have running this tractor. Now moving up here on the dash to the left hand side, we're going to have a little control panel here. We'll see that we have our turn signals up here at the top. We're also going to have a little button here that looks like our control panel. This is what we're going to use to cycle through the different controls on this display. Once we turn that switch on, we'll see all of these lights pop up. You'll see a lot of different lights here that are going to give you different warnings and things whenever you're running this machine. But if we push this middle button, first, a lot of times we're going to be showing engine hours, then we'll show driving hours, PTO hours, the soot level, that is going to be for your diesel particulate filter, which we'll talk a little bit more about here in a minute, our exhaust filter percentage, and right back to our engine hours. Now we're also going to have our RPM gauge right here in the middle, and then we also have our engine temperature right up here to the right hand side. Now right below that is going to be our hazard switch. So once we push that in, we can notice that our hazard lights do come on. Easy push button there. And then we're going to have two buttons to the side of that, which may look very unfamiliar to you. If you've had dealings with tractors, you may notice this symbol, but this is going to be a little cloud of exhaust. One is going to have a P next to it. The other is going to have a line through it. Now, this goes back to that diesel particulate filter that we were talking about. Now, these machines are final Tier 4 compatible, meaning that they have an exhaust cleaning system on them. Now, this cleaning system is going to do its job and work just like normal whenever you're running this tractor. Sometimes on your display panel here, you may see that little puff come up. That means that the tractor is going through what's called a regen, or it's cleaning that diesel particulate filter. Now, the two buttons over here to the side, if we see these pop up on our screen, which we would only see the one to the left, the one with the cloud of smoke and the P, this means that we need to put the tractor in park. So we need to stop the tractor, set our parking brake, put it in neutral, and then press this button here so the machine can do a parked regen. That just means that your machine's been working really hard, that filter is really plugged up, so we need to stop, get that put in park, raise our throttle up, and let that do its cleaning. Also, if you forget any of these steps, if that sign comes up, just call your dealer. They'll let you know what to do. Make sure that we are keeping your tractor running well. Now, the one to the right over here, it has that exhaust filter with the line through it. This is going to be to turn off that cleaning system in the tractor. And I highly recommend that we never use this. Sometimes people will push this so that their tractor doesn't start a regen whenever they're going through and doing a task. That is not the best idea. Unless your dealer tells you that you need to use this button, I would never use this one over here at all. Now, below that is going to be our light switch. So we have the off position, we have the on position, and then we're going to have where we can run dual sets of our working lights here over to the right. Then if we move over to the right hand side of our steering wheel, this is going to be where our throttle is right here. We also have a knockout right here, or a pop out, where we can pop this out and add an extra switch into the tractor in case we have an added attachment that we're adding. Maybe we've added some extra lights, another electronic feature right there. We have a knockout so we can put a switch in. Now, our steering wheel is going to be hard mount. It does not have any adjustment to it, so we can't tilt that down or up. It is going to be hard mount. But then right below our steering wheel is where our key switch is going to be. And then to the right of our steering wheel is going to be our loader joystick. So right here, it's going to be the normal functions that you would normally see on a joystick. It's going to be down for up for down. Left is going to curl the bucket, right is going to dump the bucket. And then over here to the right hand side of the joystick, we're going to have our loader lever lock. So what this is going to do is, say we have our loader sitting in a certain position and we want to make sure that it stays there, we can lock this out to lock just the joystick itself. So this is going to lock that joystick, so in case it gets bumped or anything, it cannot move, and allow your bucket to move any when we have it in that position. Now keep in mind that this is not a hydraulic lock, so it's not going to change anything physically with your loader. So if you happen to have some leaky cylinders, or your hydraulic system isn't functioning right and you have some leak down, this will not stop that loader from leaking down. So this is not a fail-safe if you're working on the front of the tractor underneath the hood and you have the loader up. Do not trust this here to stop your loader, and do not think that that's safe to be working underneath it with only the loader lock on, because that only locks the lever. If you're doing any work underneath the hood, you have the loader raised up, you need to have some sort of system in place, either some stops out here on your cylinders that are going to keep that from lowering down on you, or maybe a stand or something that we're resting that loader on while we're working underneath that loader. Now below our loader lever here, we're going to have our twin touch pedal system. So this tractor is going to be a hydrostatic transmission tractor, meaning that we just have the two gears that I showed you a second ago, plus our two driving pedals and our throttle. So there's no shifting between ranges and gears and then letting off the clutch. As you saw, there is no clutch on this tractor. We just have the high, the low, the two driving pedals, one with the forward arrow, one with the reverse, and then our throttle to drive this machine. So very, very simple operation on this tractor. Now moving over to the right hand side, what we're going to have up here, for one, we're going to have this yellow rocker switch. This is going to be a 3-position switch. This is going to be on the back side here. When our O is on the downward side, this is going to be off. Then we're going to have an on position here. This is going to activate the PTO but not start it until we push and hold down on that, and then that's going to be a rocker in the forward position. So we have the off position, on position, and then hold down to actually start the shaft to spinning. But then if we need to stop that on the go, it's just as simple as reaching over and pushing this button. That is going to be an electrically actuated PTO. Now, to the right of that switch, we're going to have 2 more knockouts for those additional switches for any type of attachments we may be adding. So really nice and convenient there. We're going to have a 12-volt outlet up here on top. So if we need to charge our phone or add any of those things with the 12-volt outlet, you have that conveniently to your right-hand side. And we're going to have a little storage cubby here. Really good for if you're holding your wallet, your phone, your keys, things like that. Good little storage pouch here. Then back behind, we are also going to have a beverage holder right back behind here. Then if we move down on the inside of the fender well here on the right-hand side, first thing that we're going to see is our 3-point adjustment. So this is going to be the raise and lower for your 3-point. You can see here that it's numbered on the side so that you can gauge the depth of your 3-point. And you also have this little lock knob here that we can raise up, move in that position, lock it down, so that way we can find that certain position every time without having to look back, try to find that depth again. We can lock that in right down there. Now, right in front of that, we're going to see this little sticker with an arrow. This is going to be our rate of drop adjustment, and this is right back here. As we can see, that is going to be our rate of drop. So this is going to adjust how quick or how slow those 3-point arms drop whenever we lower that 3-point down. So if we have that lessened off, it's going to drop down immediately. If we tighten that up, that's just going to increase the hydraulic pressure and allow that to drop a lot slower. So that way you know where that adjustment is. Now, moving here to the rear of the tractor, we are going to have our diesel fill right here along with that 7.5 gallon tank. Then you're also going to have your sight gauge right here. This is going to be really easy to look over your shoulder while you're in the operator station and see how much fuel that you have. Now, as far as our linkages go here at the back, what we're going to have is a category 1 3-point hitch. This is going to have a lifting capacity of 1,356 pounds. So as long as we're looking at category 1 implements that are not over that 1,300 pounds, we are good to go here. Now, this is going to have an adjustable top link. So if you need to drop this down, raise it up, you do have adjustments here on your top link. Now, we're also going to have the sway chains here. So if you need to tighten those up, loosen them to make sure we don't have enough swing there in our rear implement. Or if you do not have anything hooked up and you want to keep these from running into the tires here, you can simply adjust these sway chains to make sure that that doesn't happen. Now, on this tractor, we are going to have a 540 PTO shaft. So right there is the PTO shaft. Then we're also going to have a drawbar down here at the bottom that is going to be adjustable. So we see here that we have 3 different places that we can set this, and we're in the last position there. So we have those 4 different slots there that we can set this. Now, the last one here is going to be a storage position. Most of the time, we're not going to be able to pull anything on that position, but you see there we have some room to work. Now, also back here at the back, one other service point is we are going to have our hydraulic fluid dipstick and our hydraulic fill right over here. All right, so now let's go ahead and start this guy up so you can hear how it sounds. We're gonna make sure we're in neutral, have our parking brake set, start this machine up. Now right there, we are at the lowest of idles there. I'm gonna go ahead and release my parking brake, put it in high. I'm gonna raise the loader up, down a little bit, dump it, curl it. Go ahead and raise up on the throttle here. It's about 1,600 RPMs there. There's about 2,400 RPMs there. Lower this back down. Now, to drive it, it's as simple as I'm pushing on the forward pedal, I'm going forward. Pushing on the reverse pedal, I'm going in reverse. So very, very simple and easy to drive this tractor. Not a hard thing at all. So for all types of operators, maybe you have that really inexperienced operator, maybe you're just starting out, maybe you're teaching your kiddos how to operate a piece of machinery. These small tractors like this are going to be great for that type of thing, and also just very, very useful for all different types of work. Now, whenever we are talking about this machine here, the list price on one of these machines is going to be around the $29,000, $30,000 mark. Now, keep in mind, that is list price. That's before any type of incentives, any type of discounts that may be available. But to get to that price, you need to make sure and go talk to your local dealer to get that price narrowed down to whatever things may fit your type of category of buyer. So also, if you're looking for finance packages, those are going to be offered through your dealership, so make sure to talk to them about that. Now, whenever we're talking about warranty on these machines, you're going to have a 2-year 2,000-hour bumper-to-bumper warranty. Then you're also going to have a 6-year 2,000-hour powertrain warranty that's going to cover your engine and transmission. Now, you can add additional bumper-to-bumper warranty to these machines. You can bump that all the way out to where that 6 years is going to match your bumper-to-bumper and your powertrain, but you will not be going over the 2,000 hours usually whenever we do that. So guys, I hope this video helped you out. I hope that you liked this video. If you did, we just ask you to hit that like button and subscribe to the channel. Also, guys, if you're needing any John Deere parts at all, make sure to go check us out at 247parts.com. And as always, guys, thanks for watching. We'll see you next time. Hey guys, make sure to check out this cool video and this one. Buy your parts right up here and subscribe right here.